Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP laptop. This is a HP Pavilion laptop model 15t-eg000. Alright, so this laptop, the customer already tried to open it and ended up breaking this. There's two rubber feet here that you do need to peel up. Just get underneath and peel them out. Alright, then there's two screws here, and then two screws here. So I believe these two are silver screws, and then these four are black screws. Alright, so anyways, they ended up breaking this. So normally what you would do to get this off is after you remove the screws, right, you get your fingernails in the gap here, and then you would push with your thumb on the palm rest. Don't push on the touchpad or trackpad. Okay, if that side doesn't come out, you can also try going from this side and kind of pulling up. Okay, it can be a little bit tricky. And then usually what I do is I slide my fingernail along the edges here. You can use plastic pry tools if you want, but I use my fingernails. Okay, and also sometimes a suction cup will help. If you want, you can try using a suction cup towards the middle here and pulling up. Okay, but yeah, sorry, the customer, since they opened it, I can't really see how it would work if it was brand new, never opened. So that's kind of all the guidance I can show or give you for now. Alright, so we're going to set that stuff aside, and we're going to take a look. They got some liquid in here. The battery was also pre-removed because I didn't want the liquid to cause any more damage. But anyways, the battery sits in here, and it goes in like this. This part gets pushed down, but we had to remove it here. There were 4 screws on top, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 2 screws down here. Oh, sorry, this one and this one. These are all PH1 or JAS1 screws. If you want, the battery model number is right here, HW03XL. Alright, and then you got the HP spare part number here, which is L97300-005. Okay, so we're going to set the battery aside. We are going to completely take this thing apart. Well, at least removing the motherboard and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to be removing this board first. There's 3 screws holding it in place. Okay, I'm not really going to be doing much zooming and in and out camera work for this one because I'm trying to get this done quick. It's really late and I need to sleep. I haven't been sleeping much lately, less than 4 hours a day. So yeah, anyways, we're going to flip this latch up. Once you do that, you can lift this board up. Okay, try and get it, I guess, from the bottom here. And then once you do that, you can grab this and you can kind of wiggle this to pull it out. And there we go. We got this board out. If you need the model numbers, you probably want to just pop yours out. It's pretty simple, but there you go. Okay. We'll set that aside. Okay, what else we got? Wireless card here. It's held in with this stupid adhesive thing. That's kind of annoying. I'm just going to peel. Oh, I guess it's going to pull the antenna out as well. So I guess we got no choice. Alright, so we'll take that adhesive thing off. There's 1 screw here. I was planning to leave both antennas attached, but I guess it just disconnected. Set the screw aside. Hopefully you guys are keeping the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. I do that by putting the flat side down on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Okay, and that way I can know exactly where I got them from. Alright, I clip the antenna back into place, and we're just going to move the wireless card aside so it's not in our way. We've got the DC jack charge port connector here. I just use my fingernails at the wings, at the ends, and I kind of just wiggle that to pop it out, just like that. And then we'll move this out of the way. Alright, there we go. Then we got 3 screws here, so we're going to remove those as well. Okay, got this one, and the last one here. Alright, now that we got those 3, let's see if we can remove the fan. Yes, we can. So we're going to do the same thing, use the wings and wiggle it, and there we go. We'll set the fan aside as well. There's a lot of pieces to this thing that we're going to be removing, so we got to be careful. Alright, got the fingerprint sensor here. We're going to flip this latch up and then pull this cable out. Be very careful with this. You don't want to crease it or anything. Get that out of the way. We'll take out this 1 screw here. Alright, there's a lot of screws here that we're going to have to try and remember where they came from. So yeah, 1 screw there. What else? Okay, there we go. It pops up a little. We got the touchpad or trackpad connector here. Flip that latch up and pull that cable out. Okay, keyboard backlight connector. Flip this latch up and pull this cable out. Alright, then we got the keyboard connector. Flip that latch up. And pull this cable out. Okay. Then we got the SSD here, which is a... Does it say? It doesn't really say. Well, let's go ahead and remove this screw. And we're going to look underneath to see if there's any liquid, signs of liquid or anything there. Alright, there is a HP sticker here that's kind of stuck down that you have to be careful with. Slowly, carefully peel that up. And then once you get that, you can wiggle and pull this out. There's a thermal pad on the bottom, which is kind of interesting because I wouldn't think to put it on the bottom. Alright. This is okay, it is a SATA SSD. Usually when it has two notches like this, it's SATA, but not always, so that's why I check, okay? But this is a M.2 SATA. I would assume it supports PCIe NVMe as well, but I don't know for sure. The only way to know is if you actually just put an SSD in there, M.2 NVMe SSD, and check. Alright, we're going to pop this out and take a look here. We got some PC4 3200 AA RAM. So you can use any PC4 3200 AA RAM, should be fine. And then if you want, you can upgrade to 2 8GB sticks or something like that, or 2 16GB sticks. Alright, so far I don't see any liquid residue here, so I think we should be okay. I'm gonna have to take a closer look at the entire motherboard once I get everything out. One thing I didn't mention, after removing the battery, you do want to open up the computer and then press and hold the power button for 15 seconds. Alright, this is to reduce the risk of damaging the, usually the screen cable, alright, and the power button is on the keyboard, so if you disconnect the keyboard, make sure reconnect the keyboard and then press and hold the power button. Okay, I had the battery out already for a very long time and already held the power button before that, so it shouldn't be an issue, but I just wanted to let you know, if you're doing this, to make sure to, after removing the battery, open up the laptop, press and hold the power button 15 seconds or longer. Alright, and also another thing, what was I thinking about? I forget. Never mind. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing these screws. Okay, and that battery or power drain thing, it's very important, especially if you're going to be messing with the LCD LVDS connector, which is right here. We're going to flip this latch up. Okay, and then we can kind of lift this slightly. So I lifted from the back here and then pulled it out. Okay, all right, what else we got? We got two more screws over here. We'll remove those as well. Okay, hopefully you guys can remember where all the screws go. Again, I'm putting them on my desk in the pattern I remove them, so that way I know exactly where they came from. All right, anyways, I'm going to wiggle this speaker connector out here, and there we go. And both speakers actually connect right here. Make sure you get it the right way where the metal pins, exposed metal pins, are facing up. And both speakers connect down here to each other and plug in right there. Okay, I think I got all the screws we need to get out. So we're going to try and lift this up now. We're going to start from the left side here. It looks like all these screws mounts extend slightly up into the motherboard, so be very careful lifting this. Okay, oh, there's one more screw here, kind of hidden. I thought that wasn't part of the motherboard for some reason, so make sure you get that one out. I was wondering why it was a little difficult lifting up. Okay, and carefully lift it up, get the cables underneath, right, and grab on the side. Then we're going to wiggle this. This cable kind of gets in the way, so be careful with that, and this one as well. And we're going to flip it over. So here you can see the bottom of the motherboard. Looks fairly clean. I'll probably brush it up a little, but yeah, I don't really see any liquid residue here, so we should be okay. Here you can see the motherboard model number. All right, DA0G7HMB8G0 revision G. All right, and then the other side. Yeah, there's no signs of liquid residue, most likely because the customer, they right away turned it off and yeah, left it unplugged. There might be a little bit, but not really, nothing too crazy. I hopefully it will be okay. It really depends where the liquid got to at the time of it being powered on, because they did have to, it was on when they spilled on it. So alright, so I'm gonna keep it on my arm to kind of keep this from flexing too much as I brush it. And of course I am keeping myself grounded. I have my knee against my metal desk. And yeah, there we go. We'll flip this over and we'll continue brushing this off as well. But I think we should be okay in terms of, yeah, I don't see any like signs of corrosion. So corrosion wise, we're probably good. But oh, here you can see where there might have been some liquid. Where does this go? On the triangle here? I don't know. Interesting. I don't know what this gray stuff here is all about. I don't think that's from liquid. Okay, and then the tricky part is getting all of this back in. So we have to go in at an angle like this and make sure these cables end up back on top. Okay, so make sure that's on top and that's on top. Continue going at an angle. You might have to tilt it even more. All right, once you get it tilted enough that this little plastic raised mount goes in, you should be okay. You can slowly start lowering it back down. Again, make sure all these cables end up back on top. You don't want them underneath the motherboard. You could slowly like pick them out as you go, but there we go. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead now and get all the screws back in. Hopefully their computer is good and has no permanent damage. We can get all these screws back in. That one. This one. When they brought the computer to me, I was like, why is the corner broken? Was it dropped? And they're like, oh, funny story. I was like, did you try to take it out and not? And they're like, yeah. Alright, anyways, we'll get that screw in. Okay, don't forget to get these cables in. Flip that latch up again. Make sure these cables don't have any corrosion either if you did spill liquid on yours. Right? Most likely if you got liquid in this connector, the LCD LVDS connector, your screen or backlight circuit's dead. Anyways, get the speaker, line it up, and reconnect this. There we go. Keyboard connector, make sure that's lined up. Make sure you clean the dust off and anything that's there. Get this in. Alright, and flip that latch. Okay, looks like it's in all the way, but the latch has like this excess exposed white bar. Usually they design it so that doesn't show so much, like it'll just be a little bit, but I don't know. Anyways, flip that latch down, then the trackpad one, get that in there. Alright, flip that latch down, there we go. Get that in, alright, put that down, get this screw. Right, oops, let's actually get the antenna wire back in the routing thing it's supposed to go. Okay, there we go. Alright, there we go. Alright, then let's go ahead and get this back in here. That looks like that. Stick that on. Alright, get the DC jack charge port connector lined back up. Pinch that back in. The DC jack is underneath the hinge mount here. So if you need to remove it, you have to take that out and flip that hinge up. If you can't flip the hinge up, what you do is after open the laptop a little, then take these screws out and then close the lid down. Just do it slowly to make sure it doesn't get caught on here and damage anything. Okay, let's go ahead and get this back in. Okay, flip that latch down, get those 3 screws in place. Okay, this one, and another one. Okay, make sure this cable's going in those little route guiding things. Okay, we'll get the M.2 SATA SSD back in at an angle, pinch the 2 together like that, and lower it down. Of course, get the screw in and get that into place. Stick that back down. Okay, now we got one more screw here. If I remember correctly, it came from here. Okay, then we got the fan. Again, make sure that the metal pin side is showing up. Okay, and pinch that into place. Get the fan into place. Get this in. There we go. Okay, so we got all of that. Let's go ahead and get the battery back in. This battery also acts as the BIOS or CMOS battery, so keep that in mind. After you remove this, the computer, usually when you turn it on, it's gonna power cycle several times before it actually boots up, right? And then it's gonna tell you like the BIOS or CMOS was reset. Okay, that's normal. Oops, I forgot to reconnect the fingerprint connector, so let's go ahead and plug that in as well. I think I noticed that. Okay, there we go. Alright, now let's go ahead and get this back in. Line that all up, push that back down. Alright, and get all these screws back in. Alright. This in. That in. Alright, and we'll get these other 2 screws in. And then we just got to get the bottom cover back on, and hopefully the liquid didn't damage anything permanently. So far it looks okay. Alright, let's get the cover back on. Just line it up. Clip it all down into place. Okay. To do that, you push around the edges, okay? There we go. Then we got this one. Problem is, this one is missing the screw mount in there, so I don't know if I'll be able to put that back on because this piece would have to go underneath like that. So yeah, I don't know how we would do that. It would have to go inside, but they broke it, so let's see, can I pop this back out, or is it going to be a pain? Okay, now it's being difficult to pop out again. So let's see, is there a spot I can kind of grab here? There we go. Okay. I guess I can try and put a little glue to hold it in. This glue, I really should use like super glue. I have this glue that holds really strong, but it takes a very long time to solidify, so I don't know if this is going to be a good glue to use, but let's see. We'll try a little. Close it back up. Alright, so let's try and stick this piece back on that fell off. Okay, I guess they didn't remove this bottom piece when they pulled the cover, and then they broke this screw mount off, and the other one they just broke the entire corner off. Okay, so this kind of glue, I need to kind of hold this for a while here. Yeah, I don't know. It should be okay. Alright, if you use super glue, you hold this for like 30 seconds or so, and then it should be okay. It should set enough to hold there. Alright, I don't know about gluing this whole piece back on there. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this back lined up. Snap everything into place. Again, pushing on the outer edges. Okay. And get this lined up into place. Alright, oh, I might need to pop this thing area back out to get that underneath. Okay, let's see if I can get that back under there. Just like this, there we go. And this side goes somewhat on top. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get these screws back in. This corner up here in, this one up here in. Right, then we got the little silver ones for the front. Get those in. Might have to switch to a smaller screwdriver. I think I'm gonna switch to a JIS0 or PH0 should work as well. Okay, put that in. And get this one in as well. Then we got these rubber thingies that we need to put back. Okay. Usually one is thicker than the other. I don't know, they stuck them together, so hopefully the adhesive will still be okay. Okay, so the thicker one goes at the back where the hinges are, because those are supposed to keep the back end at a slightly higher angle. All right. Wow, it's all stretched out. Okay, so we're gonna kind of just work our way, pushing the raised bit, and there we go. All right, we're gonna do the same with this side. Get that in. Usually what I do is I get both of the ends in first because it gets stretched out, and then you get this like lumpy part sticking up. So what you do is you go from there and you just push the lump down, and it should basically push it to squeeze the rubber towards the center. And there we go. Okay, let's flip this over and power it up and see what we got. Hopefully it'll power up okay. I might have to plug it in. I do see the power light is on. Okay, so we're going to give it some time. Hopefully the keyboard didn't get damaged from the liquid. Alright, right now nothing is on the screen at all. The power button light is on. And we'll have to just wait and see if it's going to start up or if it's completely dead. I see the screen's lighting up. Okay, a lot of times it's going to like shut off and turn back on when it's resetting the BIOS. So we're just going to give it some time. Here you go, CMOS invalid. It will reset to default. That's fine. Enter to restart the computer. Wait for it to finish booting up. And looks like we're good to go. It's spinning around. All right, so that's pretty much all there is to it. It did boot up. Looks like we're good. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.